Servers are the backbone of our digital world. As you can hear, they are loud, large and power hungry. They're also hot, which means rooms like this need to be artificially cooled to stop these computers overheating. So as we expand our digital world, are we destroying our physical world? There's a digital gold rush going on at the moment.
There's a big industry around Bitcoin.
The Bitcoin technology is key. And
Bitcoin, I'll send it to Bitcoin, you get Bitcoin, you don't get Bitcoin.
Again and again, Bitcoin is hitting record prices following celebrity endorsements and interest from the traditional financial institutions. It's promoted as the future of monetary exchange, but the massive computational power required to prop it up is equivalent to the energy expenditure of a small country. Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency based on blockchain, which is a complex algorithm that allows individuals to make digital transactions without a financial institution being involved. As Bitcoin grows in popularity, the more computers there are securing the transactions and creating new coins, and the more electricity is used. It's been estimated Bitcoin has a carbon footprint comparable to that of New Zealand, producing almost 37 million tonnes of CO2 annually, making Bitcoin responsible for 0.5% of total global electricity consumption. Now, your credit card uses energy too, but it's currently estimated that one Bitcoin transaction is the equivalent of 453,000 Visa payments. As we dig further into our digital habits, we see a growing environmental impact of our data-hungry lives. The phone in your pocket, or more likely hand, has replaced many things like your newspaper, torch, stereo and map. That might seem like a net gain, and it runs on batteries, so it costs only about 75 cents a year to charge. But the real cost comes from the content you're accessing on it. The massive data centers powering the content for smart devices are responsible for 3.5% of global emissions, surpassing aviation and shipping, and could rise to a staggering 14% by 2040. Watching online videos accounts for the biggest chunk of the world's internet traffic, roughly 60%, which equates to over a zettabyte, or 1,000 billion bytes every year. In 2018, streaming platforms like Netflix and Amazon Prime made up the largest share of video downloads, contributing about 100 million tonnes of carbon dioxide. And that was before COVID, when we all binge-watched their entire catalogues. Pornography accounts for a third of video streaming traffic, or 80 million tonnes of CO2, roughly the same as the country of France. Tube sites, dominated by the Google-owned YouTube, were responsible for some 64 million tonnes annually. Email has taken over from the art of letter writing, but the ease with which electronic letters are written, embedded with attachments, and blasted with the click of a button is not without its environmental impact. The typical office worker sends or receives 140 emails a day, which adds up to 34,300 a year, which in turn will create 168 kilograms of CO2, the equivalent of driving the average car 671 kilometers per person. By 2023, it's estimated that a total of 347 billion emails will be sent around the world every year, which would be the equivalent of 620 million tonnes of carbon dioxide, or more than the entire CO2 output of Australia. So how do we overcome these escalating energy needs? The best solution would be less harmful energy creation. Apple pledged to be carbon neutral by 2030. Google also promised all its data centers to be run on carbon-free energy by 2030. And Amazon, the world's largest supplier of cloud infrastructure, has undertaken a similar goal with a 2040 deadline. Gains could be made using less data-heavy design. Programmers could factor in energy concerns into coding and algorithms. By building websites with less animation, fewer third-party add-ons like plugins and pop-ups, limiting ranges of fonts, and linking, not attaching files in emails, we would reduce data downloads and ease the demands on the servers. Easiest, though, is to be smarter with energy waste. Plugged-in but idle devices in the US alone could power the whole Bitcoin network for 1.5 years. So the best way you can help is switch it off.